In the 1600s, when European empires expanded aggressively across Africa, kingdoms were falling. But in what is now Angola, one ruler stood unshaken. For more than 30 years, she resisted Portuguese colonial expansion. She was a diplomat, a military strategist, a master of political survival, and she was a queen who refused to kneel. Her name was Nzinga Mbande. Nzinga was born around 1583 into the royal family of the Ndongo Kingdom. From childhood, she was trained not as a bystander, but as a leader. She studied statecraft. She learned military strategy. She became skilled with the battle axe. She observed diplomacy in action. Her father ruled Ndongo, but after his death, her brother, Ngola Mbandi, inherited the throne. By then, Portuguese influence on the coast had grown dangerously strong. Their interest was clear: control territory and expand the slave trade. Ndongo stood directly in their path. As Portuguese pressure intensified, Nzinga emerged as her brother's most capable negotiator. In 1622, she was sent to Luanda to negotiate peace with the Portuguese governor, João Correia de Sousa. What happened there became legend. When Nzinga entered the meeting chamber, the governor was seated on a chair. There was none provided for her. The message was deliberate. She was expected to sit on the floor, beneath him, symbolizing submission. Nzinga refused humiliation. She calmly ordered one of her female attendants to kneel on hands and knees. Then she sat on the attendant's back, forming a human chair, and conducted negotiations at eye level with the governor. The symbolism was unmistakable. She would not negotiate as a subordinate. The Portuguese were forced to treat her as an equal. A treaty was signed, but peace did not last. In 1624, after the death of her brother, a death some historians debate and controversially linked to Nzinga, she assumed the throne. Her position was far from secure. She ruled in a male-dominated political culture. She faced internal opposition. The Portuguese sought to weaken her authority. Nzinga responded with bold strategy. When Ndongo became too vulnerable, she seized control of the neighboring kingdom of Matamba. From there, she rebuilt power. Matamba became her stronghold. Nzinga was not a ceremonial ruler. She led troops into battle. When open warfare proved costly, she adopted guerrilla tactics, striking unexpectedly, retreating strategically, and destabilizing Portuguese control. She formed alliances with neighboring African states. She also played European powers against each other. In the 1640s, she aligned with the Dutch, rivals of Portugal, to strengthen her resistance. Earlier, she had converted to Christianity and taken the name Ana de Sousa, using religion as a diplomatic tool to secure temporary alliances. For Nzinga, identity was strategy, faith was diplomacy, alliance was survival. Nzinga did something else that made her especially dangerous to the Portuguese. She offered sanctuary to runaway slaves. Those who escaped Portuguese plantations found refuge in her territory. Many joined her army. This strengthened her military forces and weakened Portuguese economic interests. Her kingdom became more than a state. It became a center of resistance. Even into her 60s and 70s, she continued leading campaigns. Few rulers in history fought that long. By the 1650s, decades of warfare had reshaped the region. Nzinga, now older but politically sharp, returned to negotiations. Eventually, a treaty recognized her authority over Matamba. She remained queen until her death in 1663, in her 80s. That alone was extraordinary for the 17th century. She did not die defeated. She died reigning. Today, Nzinga Mbande is remembered as one of Africa's greatest anti-colonial leaders. She was not simply a warrior. She was a strategist who understood power in all its forms: military power, diplomatic power, symbolic power. The day she refused to kneel was not just an act of pride, it was a declaration. Her story reminds us that resistance is not always loud. Sometimes it is calculated, patient, and relentless. For more than 30 years, she stood against an empire, and she never bowed. If you enjoy the story and want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel at Africa Folktales, Movies and Storytelling.